"This had better work," Rex growled as he stomped back to the telescope's controls. His stepfather, the mechanical mimic Todd, nodded and replied flatly, "Each new experiment has grown in scope and danger. This one stands to destroy all your work and more should it fail." 2 more years and several failed experiments later, Rex hoped to find his answers from the confines of his prison. The young man sighed. "The containment field's been reinforced after it disintegrated. The new high-capacity power couplings shouldn't melt. And I've tightened the warp drive's response tolerances as much as I dare." Rex threw himself into the seat at the telescope's controls, eyed the system's gauges and meters before he forced himself to relax. As he sank into the chair, he drew in a long, deep breath. He let his hands dangle from the ends of the armrests as he exhaled. Every safety circuit glowed a cool blue on the panel. The needles for coolant pressure, power output, and field intensity all offered assurances his invention remained under control. A broad screen above showed the center of his invention's focus, a swirling magenta cloud. He chuckled to himself as he pondered the dangers and considered the absence of any safer solution. An implosion of space rather than a glimpse through time threatened to cave this corner of the moon in on itself. All the safety circuits stood to naught if he failed to tame time and open a keyhole to his destination. "You're thinking of halting the experiment?" his stepfather asked, hovering nearby. He placed his gloved hand on Rex's shoulder. "What you seek doesn't warrant risking your life." "I've been on this moon 4 years now," Rex replied. "He acts as though my efforts might disturb all I come in contact with, like a virus." "Machinekind's stewardship of its creators has eliminated many atrocities born from human conflict," Todd countered. "Your behavior stands to tear down the accomplishments of the veneer clause by making others aware of it." Rex drove his fist into the chair's armrest. "You saved me from a stagnant life." "In favor of a dangerous one." Rex grimaced and pulled himself up to the controls. Racing through the sequence to bring all systems to bear on the hazy time fog, he grumbled, "I'll not come this far without seeing it through." The cooling systems nearby thrummed to life while the power generator whined into action. Rex watched the time warp wriggle and fight, wax and wane as he fed it power and bolstered its prison. Feeding and growing, Rex fought to drive its expansion inward, backward through time. Lightning crackled within the mauve mist as it deepened in color and brightened into a rippling indigo torrent. Rex checked his instruments. The safety circuits fluttered from blue to green, and green to yellow. He pushed the controls further, drove his telescope closer toward his goal. The rising cloud's center dissipated with a pulse of light, and a scene lost to history took shape. 91st Moon's spaceport appeared, with visiting ships revealing their actions in reverse. Landing with the flare of takeoff rockets, and taking off with sporadic puffs from their retro thrusters. Rex glanced at the screen's chronometer and accelerated the scope's soar through time. The scene hastened but also jostled out of focus, often losing its view of the landing pad. Rex fought to compensate for the changes in space coordinates, to account for the moon's orbit, the 91st Earth's orbit, the star's path through space-time amongst the galaxy. Volumes of data stored by Machinekind across the thousands of worlds provided the positional fixes Rex relied on to calculate this single spot's trajectory through the continuum. Gradually, the landing pad steadied within the view screen. Rex held his breath as one safety circuit skipped past an orange status and glowed red. He looked over his shoulder to Todd. "The cooling system!" he shouted. "See what you can do!" With a curt nod, Todd raced down the corridor. A second alarm reddened, the containment field. Rex's heart pounded and sweat poured. The containment field's failure endangered everything.